Hi folks. This video started out very differently. I recorded my debt story and I sat down and edited it, and when I finished it was 1 hour and 4 minutes long. And I was sitting there thinking, who wants to watch a 1 hour video? Maybe I can get away with half an hour. I'm not sure. So I'd been thinking about it, and I'm out here on my morning walk. And I do apologize if you hear the sounds of nature, but it's a very beautiful day, and I sat down on a bench and decided to record a new voiceover for parts of the video to make it much shorter. I'm still going to use part of my original video, but I'm trying to trim the fat off of, like, say, the first 30 to 40 minutes to make this video just a little bit more bearable. I may sound a little bit winded because I have been walking, and I'm sure you're going to hear the occasional bird. But if you will, just follow me as I talk about my debt journey. The first thing I would like to talk about is my Small Business Administration EIDL loan, or Economic Injury Disaster Loan. These are loans made by the SBA during the COVID shutdown to help businesses basically bridge the gap from loss of income. Now, I am what you would consider a sole proprietorship. I'm a self-employed contractor. I contract for, really right now, 3 or 4 different businesses. One of which I do IT support for them for their customers. Now, the loan, I received a $10,000 loan. It's a 3% APR over a 30-year period. Now, the loan is in forbearance as far as payments for the first year. So from when I received the loan in June of 2020 to June 20th of 2021, I don't have to make payments. As a matter of fact, before last week, I didn't even know how to make a payment. I finally received some loan paperwork. I guess they've been behind. It's understandable. And I now know how to make my payments. I went ahead and made this past week my first payment of the minimum payment is $49. I went ahead and made the first minimum payment of $49. And I do plan on paying from now until June, because the interest does accrue during this 1 year period. And then I have 29 years to finish paying it off. Now, that's not my plan. I do plan to attack this debt with the rest of my other debt in either a snowball or avalanche method. But I am paying from now until payments are actually due until then. Currently, I have around a little over $6,000 remaining balance of the loan, and I'm not planning on spending much more of that. I do have some transactions that I believe are going to come up that will total around in the neighborhood of $400 to $500. But my biggest plan is do not let that balance get below $5,000. And on June 20th, when the first official payment is due, I plan to make one big snowflake payment of whatever the remaining balance is in that separate account I have it in. Now, the second debt I want to talk about it's a debt I didn't have to take, but I took it for credit score purposes. Now, Dave Ramsey has said over and over again that it is stupid to take out debt just for a credit score, and I agree. Now, let me quickly preface why I did this. I had tried earlier in the year to get a Chase business card so that I can keep my business expenses separate from my personal expenses. Right now, I put all of my business expenses on my personal Chase card. Well, when I applied, I was immediately denied. 7 days later, I got a letter in the mail, and there were 2 reasons listed. One of them talking about my average age of credit history, which is usually not a big deal. The other was talking about lack of installment loans, non-mortgage installment loans on my credit report. Well, so, me not wanting this to happen again, I went hunting away to get some installment loan history without borrowing a ton of money I didn't need and buying something I didn't need with that money. So what I did is I went looking for a credit builder loan, and I'd heard about Self.Inc. And basically what they do is you borrow some money. It's different amounts to choose from, and different amounts determine your monthly payments. But you borrow a chunk of money. They don't give you the money. They purchase a CD or certificate of deposit with it, and then you pay that money back over a year or 2-year period. And then at the end of the loan, you get whatever's left in the CD minus an origination fee and whatever interest accrued on the loan. Self.Inc., however, charges 16% APR. My bank has the same service with only 3% APR. Now, they do have a $100 origination fee, but it's 3% APR. And I did the math, and it was still a lot cheaper to go with my bank. What they did is they did a loan of $1,100 and purchased an $1,100 CD. Now, I went ahead and paid the origination fee of $100 up front. And the estimated accrued interest over a year period is estimated to be around $26. That's what they say it usually is. Like I said, it's locked in at a 3% interest rate. So I make payments over a 12-month period. I make 11 payments of $93.91, and the last payment is around $88. I don't remember the exact cent. And what that does is that will give me some installment loan history on my credit. And at the end of the year, I get the $1,100 CD. Now, my intention for that $1,100 is I'm going to also use that as snowflake payment. I was going to put it on the EIDL loan, and I may still, I just have not decided because of the recovered debt that I'm going to speak to you about in just a few minutes. The bad thing is, though, is I come to find out that Chase was actually denying all sole proprietorships during this period, no matter what. And that is more than likely why I was really immediately denied for the loan, because I do have good credit now since I paid off all my consumer debt. So if I'd known that, I just would have went somewhere else outside of the Chase ecosystem, like American Express, to get a business card and not gone through this installment loan. I don't have any installment loans because I paid cash for my vehicles. I didn't see any need to get any kind of installment loan. I'm going to touch real briefly on my consumer debt. Now, for a 10-year period, from like 1998 to 2008, I actually didn't even have a bank account. I was strictly cash. I paid cash for everything. If I had to use a credit card for something or a debit card, I used a prepaid debit card, loaded money on it, and paid whatever it was. Around 2008, I decided to join the banking world again, and I opened a bank account. I've been doing real well. I have not overdrafted since I've opened the bank. I don't have any overdrafts. I manage my money real well. Before YNAB, I was using a 2-account method. I kept all my money in one account, and any bills I had, I transferred that money into the second account and paid it out of that account. Now, I did get debt-free as far as my credit cards, but I wasn't truly debt free. So I went hunting the debt I'm going to talk about in the next session. But I did not have that much credit card debt compared to a lot of people, but it was still more than I should have. Including my Amazon store card, I think I had a total of around $5,000 in credit card debt. And before YNAB, I did pay that off. I had started using the debt snowball method last year, and I wasn't making a gigantic headway, but I was making some headway. When COVID-19 hit and we got shut down, I did manage to get some unemployment, and I used a large chunk of that unemployment money to go ahead and just finish wiping out my credit card debt. That is the story up to this point. Now, I'm going to go into talking about the old debt that I went hunting down. That is going to be the original part of the video I just did. Now, I know I've been bombarding you with ums, and I'm going to bombard you with ums and the rest of it. I do apologize. This is going to be into the re-recorded voiceover, and I'm now going to go into the last half of the original video. I think since I've already edited the video and I've already edited it to YouTube, I may just go ahead and make it live just in case somebody does want to watch an hour-long video of me rambling and saying over again. But otherwise, hopefully you've just watched this shorter video and gotten an insight into my debt story. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day. Around 1997, 1998, I'd gotten out of school, and I was working my first job, and everything was going great. And through entirely my own fault, when I said it was going great, it really wasn't. It's entirely my own fault. And actually, part of it was related to an undiagnosed medical condition, but it's still my fault. I lost that job, and I lost that good job. And I fell into a depression, and I defaulted on my student loans, and I overdrafted my bank account. I did pay back the overdrafts, but I defaulted my student loans in 1998 and 1997, actually 1990, somewhere between end of 97, early 98, my loans went into default, and I kind of stuck my head in the sand, and I took like the first low-paying job I could find. I was depressed. I was not handling things well. I was not taking care of myself. I was not being responsible. I did dig myself back out of the hole, except for my student loans. I kind of stuck my head in the sand. Now, years later, after I'd gotten responsible again, of course, I'm still, working a low-paying job. That's my fault. And I've stayed in a low-paying job where I haven't had a raise in I don't know how long. I've stuck in that low-paying job, but I did try to do something about my student loans. But the collection agent or whoever had it at the time was, quite frankly, a real butthole. And they wanted full payoff, would not offer any kind of payment plan. So I just basically told them where they could stick it and buried my head in the sand again for years. Anyway, through my debt-free journey, I paid off all those credit card debts, and everything's fine, But always in the back of my mind, my student loans have been a limit.
Now, because they defaulted so long ago, they're with a collection agency, but they're not on my credit, so they're not affecting my credit. But because they were in the back of my mind, I decided I was going to find that debt and pay it off. Due to the COVID-19 CARES Act, I received a letter from the collection agency that has my loan, um, about the extension of the forbearance and extension of turning off the wage garnishment, payments and everything. I finally had a phone number for the collection agency. I've now come to find out that there were resources on the internet like StudentAid.gov, and that I could track it down. And I did use that to find out information, but I didn't know that until after the fact. I finally had a phone number to call, so I've called. I called last week, and I started the process of doing loan rehabilitation for my student loans. And what loan rehabilitation will do is that I have to make 9 payments. They're establishing a repayment plan, and I'm waiting on that. They've sent me a letter for the repayment agreement, and I have to sign that, send it back. And then what I do is I make 9 payments in 10 months. Apparently, you can miss 1 payment. I don't understand that, but I make 9 payments, and my loan comes out of default, and then I guess it will be returned to a regular servicer. And I guess at that point, I can consolidate my loans or something like that. I probably won't, because they're not actually that. It's not that big of a debt like a lot of people have now. These loans were just kind of to cover the areas that other financial aid did not. And plus, this was also 1994 to 1996 or something like that. 1990, yeah. That the loans were incurred. Um, Now, to talk about my loans, I did go on studentaid.gov, and I was able to get the totals. Um, I have 4 outstanding loans. The first one is a Stafford subsidized. It's my oldest loan. I have these listed in age. Oldest loan first. The principal still owed is $527. The interest owed is $400, for a balance of $927. The second loan is another Stafford subsidized loan. The principal is $1,628. The interest owed is $1,212, and the total balance is $2,840. Then there is a Stafford unsubsidized loan, and this is actually from the same year. This was just to cover what I could not get with the subsidized loan. The principal remaining is $312. There's $232 in interest. The balance is $533. And the last loan is another Stafford subsidized loan, with the principal is $1,977. The interest is $1,428, and the total is $3,405. The total of the loans is outstanding balance is $7,715.45. But when it goes to collections, collection fees are added. The collection fees are currently $1,381.43. Now, after I make my 9 payments, the loan will come out of collections. Those collections fees will be removed, and it will be I will have to pay just the balance on the loans. I don't know if the total on the loans is going to increase over these 9 months. I just really don't know. Right now, I do not have any idea what the interest rates are for the loans. As far as I know, the interest stopped when they went into default. So I assume the interest will start back when they come out of default, but they may start back once I start my repayment plan. Now, I do not know what the $5 is applied to. I don't know if it's applied to the collections fees and then whatever's left on the collection fees rolled off, or if it's applied to the loans themselves. For that reason, I'm not going to pursue an aggressive repayment of this until the loan comes out of default, or at least until I find out what the monthly payments is being applied to. If it's being applied to the loans themselves, then I will go ahead and be trying to do bigger snowball payments every month. But if it's just being applied and taken to out of the collection fees, I'm just going to pay $5 a month, and then I'm going to try to just bank some extra money every month for when the loan does come out of default to make a snowflake payment. Just to touch back on some things, one thing I did not mention that I just realized on the credit builder loan, if for some reason I fall on hard times and I cannot make that payment every month of basically $94, I can basically stop that loan without incurring any penalty. And what will happen is I will literally just get back the money minus interest that I have paid into that loan. So if I've paid $300 or $400 in, they'll just subtract the interest from those months and give that money back to me. So I don't plan on doing that because the entire reason for having that loan is to establish a 12-month payment history. And that's why I'm not doing any kind of debt snowball or aggressive payment plan on that loan. To move on to Undebt.it, I have put the loans in Undebt.it, and by the way, I love Undebt.it. I went ahead and paid the super low yearly subscription. They only charge $12 for this thing, and I actually got 25% off that. I get the first year for $9. This is great. But anyway, I want to use free version, but I get to do the YNAB sync, and I mean, I'm all about syncing and making life easier. But anyway, I've got the loans in here. I don't have any of my credit cards in because I'm not, if I do incur a debt on the credit card, I will put that in here to help make an aggressive payoff. But right now, I have the loans in here all for tracking purposes, and I have them in YNAB for tracking purposes. I'm going to go back in there and show you. First, I have the credit builder loan. This is my remaining balance, my interest rate, my payments, and like I say, it generates $2.30 a month interest versus the whatever it would have been for the 16% with Self.Inc. And like for the same, I think I would have been paying to get the same result. I think I would have been paying over $100 a month with Self. But next is my EIDL loan. I just made my first payment on it because I finally got the paperwork in to basically tell me how to pay. So I made that first payment. I haven't made any payments. I've had the loan since June, so I haven't made any payments until now. But I made my first payment, and the payment's supposed to be $49, but I made the tiniest of snowballs, and I'll explain why in a minute. But this tells me my monthly interest. Now, this is an amortized loan, amortized loan, of course. So it just, I don't really know what that means, but I guess the bigger the loan, if I'm not paying on it, the interest builds up, and then you pay interest on that interest. But like I said, it's such a low interest rate. It's going to be completely offset by my payments. The beginning balance on the statement they sent me was $10,000. They're not showing any interest on it, so maybe they didn't, because of being behind, they haven't started adding interest. I don't know. But the payments I make between now and June will more than offset the monthly interest, and start taking a tiny little chunks out of the principal. Next, I have my loans listed. Like I said, I'm listing them in the age right now. I'm not doing any kind of debt snowball, debt avalanche, anything like that. I have it set up for just a custom order of payoff to kind of do it how I want to do it now, and I'll show you that. And I have the collection fees added down here also, just to reflect the full debt amount. My payment plan right now my budget for these is the minimum payments that are due right now. I have my $5. I have not made the payments yet because I can't actually start doing this until I get the paperwork, sign it, and send it back. And I'm hoping I can sign it, scan it, and email it back just to accelerate this. But otherwise, I'll have to find a fax machine or mail it back, God forbid. I mean, come on, people, this is 2020. But anyway, like I say, because it rounds up and it was $148, my credit builder loan payment is only $93.91. For some reason, it wants me to make a $49.09 payment to my EIDL loan. Well, you know what? I made that $49.09 payment, and look at my payoff snapshots here. This month's debt snowball is 9 cents. How do you like that? I just love this program. It's a perfect companion to YNAB, and I'm kicking myself for not having YNAB and Undebt.it a year and a half ago. But anyway, back to my payoff plan on my debt snowball. Just for now, this is going to change once I find out whether or not payments will go to the loans themselves or if they're just going to go to the student loan collections fees. For right now, I have them going to the collections fees. And if that changes, then I will just kind of redo this whole thing. Yep, there's my 9 cent snowball. How you like that? Really, it's a $49.09 snowball, but that's because I don't actually owe these payments yet. They're not mandatory. And right now, it looks like the plan is the credit builder will be paid off in July, and it will shift the remaining, it will make my EIDL loan payment $143. Now, the actual plan that I have is in 9 or 10 months, which will be right around the same time that's being paid off. My student loans will come out of default. They'll be transferred to a servicer. I will find out my actual monthly payments, and I'll find out what my interest rate is. I will get everything in here correct, and I will actually be doing an actual debt snowball to and tackling these small balance loans first and doing the aggressive payoff and, knock out the $533 and $927. Of course, there may be more by then. I don't know. I don't know how this works. But, and then and everything. And I'm actually going to pay off the EIDL loan last, because first off, it's a business loan. It's not on my personal credit. And it's a much longer loan period time. So, like I said, I want to go ahead and basically get this big monkey off my back. And the reason I was originally, I'd put it in here and just had the one thing with the lump sum of, I think it's $9,096.88 total for this. But I decided to break it out into individual loans just so I can see the magnitude of my big screw up. If I had not stuck my head in the sand and sunk into depression and just paid off these loans, I would have had these $7,000 worth of loans paid off years ago. I don't know exactly how much I paid off before I went into default, because I just don't remember that many years ago. And that's pretty much it on this. Moving over into YNAB for a minute, I just wanted to show you how I set up my little debts. I mean, this isn't important. I just figured while I'm at it, I'll show you. I did update my tracking accounts, and I've listed out those in the exact same way. For now, when I start making payments, I'm just going to I'm going to inflow it to this, the collections tracking account. So, because I don't know yet how the money is applied. I already said that. On my budget, I did expand my debt payments. And now the only thing that right now has a goal, of course, is my Credit Boost CD payment, and then the gigantic $5 a month payment that I'm not going to complain about. Now, when I finally figure out how this $5 is being, $5 a month is being applied, then I will shift it out of this collections fees. I just have it living there for now, and I'll go back and update the transactions and redo whatever I need to do to get everything looking right then. But just right now, I have it all here. I probably could collapse this into just one category, but what I've done is I just did this so that I would see it and I would be reminded of it and I wouldn't forget about it, or I wouldn't put it out of my mind. Now every time I open debt payments, I see that I have these debts, and once I get everything figured out, or I guess maybe when they come out of default and I get transferred to a regular servicer, I'll figure out the monthly payments and pay them. And that is pretty much it as far as debt goes. Like I say, right now I do have the debt in my tracking accounts, but anyway, that's my debt story, at least all I can think of now. I've rambled for a while, and like I say, hopefully, I'm not going to pursue an aggressive debt payoff for at least a few months until I figure out how all of this is going to work. But like I say, even though people are telling me I'm crazy for chasing down that debt, it's been bugging me that I paid off all my credit, but I wasn't really debt free. Now, I don't consider the EIDL loan to be bad debt, so that debt does not bug me. That's debt that if I did not incur that debt, I would not have made it, and I would have had to completely I don't know what I would have had to do. And because it's such a long period with such low interest, I did not mind incurring that debt. But anyway, that's my debt story. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't, maybe you want to subscribe. I don't know. I don't know how many people are really watching this and continuing to watch. If you like the video, give it a like. And more importantly, if you have not tried YNAB yet, I urge you to try it. There's a link in the description for a 34-day free trial. It costs you nothing. You don't have to put in your credit card until you decide to subscribe. Now, I don't get anything from you clicking on the link unless you subscribe. Then I would get a free month. But if you have not tried YNAB, try it. It's life-changing. And the first thing I would do before I even created my budget is go to YouTube, look for Nick True, and watch his tutorials. Thank you for watching.